Welcome back. In the previous video, we looked at the try-catch statement and we saw how to catch an error and that the error needs to be specifically a terminating error. But we are trying to catch generic errors and we want to catch more specific errors. Now, let's say we're going to do remove item C temp not a file. That's CSV. And we do error action stop. Now, obviously, if we run this, it's going to catch the very first error it finds, which is this one. But how do we know? How do you know that there was a problem when you catch the error? Right? It could be this one or it could be this one. You have no idea which one was caught. So if we go back to get child item E, right? And we do error 0 get member, we see that the type here is system, that management, that automation, and actually I don't know why it's not telling me that, but let's copy that and let's take a look at category info. And it is actually a drive not found exception, which is under system management automation. So now if we put that in bracket and we say we want the drive not found exception, now we can say the drive E was not found, right? And obviously we know this is the first one that will run, so we can try it. Drive E was not found. And now we're gonna catch the other one, which is again system.management.automation.item not found exception. And I know that because I looked it up ahead of time. And if you look at here, remove item E, we can do that too. Okay. ctemp not a file.csv. See, here we have item not found exception, except cut off. So there we go. And like right here, we can do write host, the file ctemp not a file.csv does not exist. All right. Then let's say this one is going to be silently continuous so it doesn't get caught. And let's run this. And there you go. Now it ran and caught that exception. So for each exception, you can do a different try catch, handle different exceptions. So another thing we can add is a generic catch statement, right, to catch any error we didn't foresee. So let's do write host unknown error, except we will actually spell it correctly. Okay, so now of course if we run this we get nothing, but let's add an error here. So new PS session in my computer, error action stop. So this will not work, I know for sure. And let's run this, and there you go. We went into our default catch. Now it's wonderful, but how do we know how do we handle that specific error? So the way we do it is that $_ variable, which in this case is an error. And let's do something that we didn't do previously, and we do select object, and we're going to say property star, because we want to know the type of error. So system management automation, drive not found, item not found exception. So what type of error is this returning? This comment, what type of error is this returning? Well, if we take a look here, this is the exception. And now if we run this again, we should now get, there you go, problem remoting. So this is how you find the issue, the error type. And now we can always add our unknown error here. So we can always do that, just in case anything out of the ordinary happens. Now, another thing the try-catch statement can come with is the finally statement. So what finally does is, when this statement was tried, then whether or not there's an exception, here's what you're going to do when you're done. So whether or not it actually caught an exception, finally will do something when this statement here, when all of this here is done executing. So if there's no errors, then it's all this. If there's an error, is this plus whatever catch statement it falls under. So for example here, if we run something and we copy files or whatever, let's say we remove the file, not a file.csv, if everything ran properly, or if it did not run properly, we're gonna do something. So here we could do remove, variable, and we say files in E. Actually, that's not how you do it. It's name. And it's variable, not variable. Right? You actually don't need the name. And so this will allow you to remove a variable. And let's make sure we're in here. Right, host. We're in finally. And if we run this, there we go. Problem remoting. There we go. So it had a problem remoting. And we're going to say silently continue. And we'll see that it still runs the finally. So there you go. There you have it. This is how you handle errors in PowerShell. And this is how you should probably handle all of your errors in PowerShell, because then when an error occurs, you are in control over what the script does afterwards. So whether it is not display any message, display a message, or perform certain actions, that's what you should do. The $_ is nice, but it doesn't do everything. It has its limits into catching errors, and you would basically have to create one $$ question mark for each of them. So you would have to do $ question mark here and handle it properly. And if this is a prerequisite, then what is going to happen? You're going to have nested $ question marks. Actually, let me paste this. We'll basically have nested $ question marks like this, and your script will look like this. So, not the greatest thing to read, especially if everything is required for the next step to proceed. And you don't even catch the specific errors. Those can give off different errors. So for example, PS session could give you an error where the username and password is not proper or something like that. Or remove item can give you drive not found error. So there's a lot of things wrong with that. This is very basic, but you should use try catch finally. You don't need to do the finally. Finally is not required. So at least try catch when you have a statement that could give you errors. So that's it for this video.